invoices for legal services, checks paid for legal services, and ledger entries for legal expenses. What's violent about that? There's nothing violent about that. And these felony counts are all BS. They're all BS. And I'm going to show you what former adult entertainer had to say with Bill Maher back in 2018.
Why she had sex with Trump, listen to that, and then listen to what she says after that, and then we're going to talk about the trial, because it's quite a variance of what she said to me in 2018.
Welcome back to Quality TV. I'm your host, Quan. And in today's video, days after the election, we still got liberals crying. We still got people in fear of the president-elect. We still got people who are continuing to keep spouting lies about Donald Trump and saying certain things where if you would just do a little research, you would understand that most of these things were lies told by the Harris campaign to make people scared and use that fear to try to gain votes to just vote against Donald Trump because of the lies being told. A lot of things that people are still talking about is that he has 34 felony counts. But if you look at the details of that case, you will understand that it was just other BS. They're still crying. They're still in fear. And who's tasked with curbing that fear? Conservatives. In the last couple of days, I mean, I still see people complaining, and what I've been doing is actually just trying to give them the information so that they can calm down and understand that these things aren't true. We have them talking about, hey, if a felon can run for president, and then a felon can get a good job, things like that. I mean, there's a difference in a violent crime and you get a felony charge versus what the justice system, this current administration and the justice system did to Donald Trump. They kind of make people shy away from Donald Trump, but the charges that he has, they're ridiculous. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the hill that Kamala Harris lived and died on, which was abortion. And I just hope that me showing you this would help you understand that you were being lied to. The results of this election was an indictment on the media in their lies and on the Democrat Party. And we all know that they need to switch up their playbook. What did they say? Oh, Donald Trump's same old tire playbook. No, you guys have been using the same tire playbook since 2016. America has spoken, and we chose the candidate that we felt were better for the job. And despite all the lies and the violent rhetoric from the left, we're here trying to essentially calm those who didn't vote for Donald Trump. But I'm going to get into the video. I'm going to show you some things. Hopefully this shows you that the legacy media and the Democrat Party are a bunch of liars. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, so first on the list, we want to start with, can a convicted felon actually run for public office? And here's the thing with the U.S. Constitution. It doesn't prohibit a felon from running for office. When the Constitution was written, we're actually in a position that a lot of countries aren't. We have the Constitution, and the guys that wrote this Constitution, they were wise beyond their time and understood that in the future, maybe somebody that's sitting in power would try to weaponize the justice system against their political opponent. I mean, you hear all the lies and the rhetoric that's what Donald Trump was going to do. In fact, while it was already happening. All right, so let's look at this here, right here. Can a convicted felon be president? And here's what the Constitution says. The simple answer is simply yes. Can a convicted or imprisoned felon can not only campaign for the president or other official or other federal office, but also be elected. I'll show you this real quick.
From former President Trump to Senator Bob Menendez to former Congressman turned cameo star George Santos, We've seen a lot of recent campaigning from politicians under indictment. And as it turns out, there's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that prohibits running for office while indicted, or even convicted, sitting behind bars. In fact, a century ago, we had a presidential candidate who campaigned from jail. Eugene Debs, the Socialist Party's nominee in 1920. He was imprisoned for speaking out against World War I, convicted under the Sedition Act. But he ran as a free speech martyr and collected 3% of the popular vote. He didn't get a single electoral vote, but he holds the U.S. record for most votes ever from a jailed candidate.
So you got that there. It's not this. There's nothing new under the sun, so it's not unusual. This has happened before. And when we talk about those felony counts that Donald Trump has, in my opinion, it's all BS. Him and this lady allegedly they signed a NDA, and there's nothing illegal about signing an NDA. If you had a job, you can sign an NDA if you was to leave the company. But I'm going to show you what those felony counts are that Donald Trump has, and none of those counts are any violent crimes or anything. It's all BS in my opinion. And I'm going to actually show you who Stormy Daniels, the alleged victim in this situation, had to say back in 2018 when it was all new to the media. All right, so this article here is Trump is found guilty on 34 felony counts. And I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to skip through it, and we're going to see what those counts are. This is the first time a former or sitting U.S. president has been convicted of criminal charges. The jurors said that they unanimously agreed that Donald Trump falsified business records to conceal a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels to influence the outcome of the 2016 election. And here's what he was charged with: invoices for legal services, checks paid for legal services, and ledger entries for legal expenses. What's violent about that? There's nothing violent about that. And these felony counts are all BS. They're all BS. And I'm going to show you what former adult entertainer had to say with Bill Maher back in 2018.
Why she had sex with Trump. Listen to that, and then listen to what she says after that, and then we're going to talk about the trial, because it's quite at variance of what she said to me in 2018. Why did you Donald Trump?
I have no idea.
Okay, but you say it's not a Me Too case.
It is not a Me Too case. I mean, I wasn't assaulted. I wasn't attacked or raped or coerced or blackmailed. They tried to shove me in the Me Too box to further their own agenda. And first of all, I didn't want any part of that because it's not the truth, and I'm not a victim in that regard.
That's not what she's saying now. She's talking about he was bigger and blocking the way. It's all the Me Too buzzwords. She said there was a power imbalance of power, for sure. My hands were shaking so hard. She said she blacked out. Blacked out?
All right, so you can clearly see that what was happening there was the administration weaponizing the legal system to go after Donald Trump in an attempt to sway voters away from him. It's all BS, and I know felons who have better jobs than I do. And here's the thing when it comes to that. If a private company decides to not hire someone convicted of a violent offense, that's well in their right to do so. The only thing that the Constitution prohibits after you gain a felony is the right to vote. It does not stop you from getting a good job. I mean, maybe, but it's up to the employer. It does not stop you from running for office or gaining office. It does not do any of that. But that's what the legacy media and the Democrats would have you believe. And I think that is wildly inconsiderate, because you have people actually out there that believe these things, and it's really taking a toll on their mental health and relationships. And I have people I consider colleagues, people I went to school with, people, friends, family, who actually believe this stuff. And that's on the Democrats from their fear mongering and things like that. And again, conservatives are the ones that's trying to curb these things. Like, we can't even fully celebrate. Now that you guys have seen that this is kind of BS, let's talk about this hill that the Democrats and Kamala Harris chose to live and die on. This is some words from her, and then I'm going to show you some words from Donald Trump.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime, a violation to their body, does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted?
All right, so, I mean, it takes a lot of balls to sit there and have somebody lie while you're right there. But he just stood there, he took it, and it's just the hill that they chose to die on. And okay, if a doctor refuses care for someone dying because they have what's a stillborn or whatever the complications that may happen from an abortion or a baby being in the stomach, this guy says 100 million times that he agrees with the exception and he does not want to ban abortion. But that's what they chose to run on, and most Americans that voted for him, they saw through the BS. They saw through it, and it's unfair to the people to actually believe these things. But let me show you what Trump actually did say.
To overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this and getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
All right, so in that there, Where does it say that he doesn't care about the exceptions? The R word, incest, and the life of the mother. Uh, F, medical facility denies you a care when you're essentially dying from something, then that's medical malpractice, and you should be upset with the medical facility, not Donald Trump. And he said it there, like none of the things that they were saying that he was going to do about abortion, none of it is true. And again, this election was won off of off of the issues as like the economy, immigration, things like that. Abortion is a big deal. We get it, but the fear that you guys have towards Donald Trump about women's rights and things like that is just simply untrue. And as American people, we deserved better than the administration that's there to actually to throw these fears into the American people. You got some people that do their own research and they can see through the BS. But again, conservatives are here actually trying to clean up the mess that the Democrats caused. But all in all, I could go on and on all day on how or what the things that they lied about during their campaign. But the video would be 20 years long or 4 years long or 107 days long, because that's how long her campaign was. But until next time, again, if you enjoyed the content, please feel free to like the content, share the content, and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. And if anything you want to talk about, just leave it in the comments down below. I'm excited to talk to you guys. But until next time, peace, love, and fish grease. I'll see you guys on the next video.